आशिक मैं बन गया हूँ मुझको बसा ले इनमें तू. That was a bit of Bollywood because I'm obsessed with that song. Like, I'm crazy obsessed with that song. And I think in a previous episode, depending on how I'm releasing my episodes, because I still don't know how I'm going to release the episodes. So for an episode called When I Wake Up, I Think of You, you're going to hear me sing this one song called Aankhein Teri Kitni Hasi Ki Inka Aashik Main Ban Gaya Hu Mujhko Basa Le Inme Tu. And I feel like I'm reciting a poem there because it's such a beautiful sound and I just love it. And I'm like, yes, this is the one song for that episode. Whispered something in your ear, dun, 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 dun. It was a pervert. Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another episode of This Days Between Us. I'm going for this episode to be either number 3 or number 5. Also, my skin's glowing today. Oh, it might just be because I'm sat in front of a lamp. I shouldn't be deceived by this for too long. It's gonna start looking crusty in a second. Oh wow, crusty skin, crusty pizza. I hate pizza. Do you like pizza? I hate pizza. I think pizza is just glorified bread with bits and pieces stuck on top to make it look aesthetic. Add a bit of tomato, add a bit of cheese, add a bit of coriander, make it look pretty. Nah, it's just cardboard. In my opinion, you're eating colourful cardboard in the name of pastries and bread. No, I didn't open this episode to start ranting. To start ranting. There you go. I'm a Midlands girl. I don't speak posh like my southern colleagues. Ranting about pizza. This one, I wanted to do it about being a Bengali woman. And what does that really mean? How do I know that I'm a Bengali woman? How do I know? Other than the fact that I do like to wear red and green. And I love Amishti. But yeah, how do I know that I'm a Bengali woman? Other than my aptitude of the language, other than my affinity for the food, for spice, for flavour, and my complete and utter disregard for salt and pepper as spice forms. They're not spices, I'm sorry. Salt and pepper are necessities. Spices are the thing that give a dish that kick, that flavour, that oomph, Oh my gosh, did I ever tell you about the landlady that I had when I moved out for the first time? My gosh, she was one crazy landlady. She was this white woman who drank like 40 cans of beer a day while sat on a sofa, sat like a fetus on a sofa and watching football or random trashy TV like Real Housewives or like this trashy TV show I remember she was once watching about vampires biting each other's necks. And I'm like, you're 40? A 14-year-old's gonna watch this? But you're 40? Like, why? You make no sense to me. But anyway, how does this relate to me being a Bengali woman? I'll tell you. There was this one time I was cooking and, she'd go out to the pub and everything. And so I realized I have my evenings to do my cooking. One time I wanted to cook spinach because I was low on iron and the place I lived in had no halal meat. So I decided to cook spinach. What a logical thing to do, I'm not cooking 40 cans of beer in a pan, I'm cooking spinach, So I was cooking spinach, was chopping onions. Lady walks through. I mean, it's her house, I get it, but lady walks through, starts opening the windows, starts spraying the freaking air freshener, like, and I'm like, oh dear, I'm not going to be able to cook my spinach in peace. And I laugh about it now. It was traumatizing in the moment. She just started being like, oh, why can't you eat salads like normal people? Why do you need to cook with spices? Why do you need to, use oil? Why do you need to use onions? Like, why onions? Why can't you do anything without onions? Why do your people always cook like this? I'm like, hey, lady, watch that mouth of yours. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say it though, because she was this 40-year-old woman who drank 40 cans of beer a day. And obviously, you don't want to get in a fight with someone like that. Not if they're your landlady. So I just remember feeling like, oh my gosh, why am I gonna have to shrink myself and shrink the kind of cooking, the kind of food that I eat, just to appease someone else and just to make them feel comfortable? But guess what I did? I shrunk myself. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it at all. And that is how I know I'm a Bengali woman. I know how to shrink to appease to other people. And that is a very sad truth. And I'm hoping that changes one day. Today, as I speak this episode into existence, I hope it changes the inner framework within me that says I need to shrink to make someone else feel comfortable. And I need to be okay with someone criticizing my community and my culture. No, not anymore. That why can't I cook like other people? Why do I have to use spices? Well, guess what, lady? It's because I'm a spice girl. That's why. You wish you were me. Sass aside, if we go back in history and think about things like colonialism. Oh, she just used the big C word. Oh no, trouble's gonna brew. No, it's not. It's time we talk about the truth properly. But if we think about colonialism, India was colonized by the British and spices were imported. Spices were stolen from Indian land. And yet, years later, we're talking decades later, when I move in to live with a white woman, she can't stand my spices. I might be so real, it was her ancestors who went to the land of India and took those spices. So why do you have a problem now with me cooking, with me being authentic, with me choosing what I want to eat? It hurt. It really hurt my sense of self, my growing sense of womanhood, in the sense that when I moved out for the first time, what I wanted to do was be more like my mother. I wanted to cook meals just like she did. And when I was starting to step into that role, to be cut down like that by someone who's a complete and utter racist, it really hurt. And it really messed up my relationship with food. Sacrifice. That's how I know I'm a Bengali woman. My sense of other people's needs are very strong. I know the sorrow in my mother and grandmother just by being in the same room as them. I know when a man needs me to be his therapist, or when a friend needs a hug. I can do that. I have been trained to be that person. I know when someone is afraid of going home and just wants me to sit with them for a little bit longer. I know when someone is feeling alone and wants to pour their heart out to me. I can do that. I have been trained to be that listening ear. But what about myself? My sense of other people is so sharp, so astute, but my sense of my own needs are far too weak. I'm used to burying them away to keep a smile on someone else's face. It's like becoming a shell. I became a shell of the woman I could have been. And if only I had just prioritized myself more and asked for help when I needed to. If only I had put my foot down and made it clear that I am not going to let go of my needs just to appease someone else's. That is how I know I'm Bengali. Because I let other people go first and put myself last. Because I know the art of sacrifice. It has been etched in my bones. And you might argue, well, isn't that just part and parcel of being a woman? And in a way, you might be right. But part of being a Bengali woman is learning two art forms. The art of silence and the art of sacrifice. be kind, be nice. But what happens when being nice becomes being a doormat and letting people walk all over you? Why aren't we taught the boundary between the two? It's crazy, and it's really sad, and it's also very real, and I'm not exaggerating here. But I think across many cultures, not just my own, if you're a woman, you are taught that shedding away pieces of yourself to make a coat for someone else is a sign that you're a good woman. When you take off your layers so that someone else can have something to stand on, you're a good woman. You're a woman who everyone should be proud of because you've so delicately taken apart your soul to heal the people around you. But what happens if you don't make sacrifices? What happens when you decide you want to keep your own layers, you don't want to take them off? You don't want to take pieces of yourself so someone else can stand on them and stand taller than you. You want to stand on your own footing with all your layers intact. Then you're told you're a bad woman, a mad woman, a woman who does not know what it means to be a woman and can't fully honor her role. So you learn to hide. Growing up, it's sad, but you've been taught that you're meant to be observed, watched, seen, but not heard. You learn to tuck your thoughts away the way your aunties do, in hushed whispers behind a closed door. But not all is bad. Like I said, your senses are sharp. It comes from all these years of sitting in silence, of knowing how to read the energy in a room, of knowing exactly what to say to diffuse the tension in a room, how to make the uncle laugh, how to get the baby to stop crying, how to get the landlady to stop pestering you over the food you want to eat. This is the Bengali in me. But I want to redefine that. I don't want my identity to simply be reduced to letting people walk all over me and choosing for me when I can choose for me. I can make those choices. I'm empowered enough if only I took the chance. And maybe these are thoughts that are echoing inside you too. So let's do this together. Let's make that change together. What I want to tell you, first thing, is that I've learned that shrinking myself for others won't make me any more likable. It will just make me easier to walk on top of. And maybe you find yourself doing that too. You find yourself making your needs smaller, your voice quieter, taking up less space so that other people like you more for how much you're willing to give them. They're not gonna like you more. No. They'll just realize that you're so easy to walk on top of. Don't do that to yourself. Girl, don't do it. This is your big sister on the internet telling you, don't. I'm redefining the Bengali woman in me slowly. And there have been many beautiful things that I've been taught about family values, about honoring your parents, about honoring yourself, your studies, your education, become more than who you once were, rise up, stand firm, stand tall. And as a Bengali woman, I've been taught all these beautiful things. But there are also some really damaging things that I think collectively as girls we know. And we shouldn't have had to know. We shouldn't have had to been taught that. We should have been taught better. I'm redefining the Bengali girl in me who is taught that if she is pretty enough, she can make a man stay. That if her waist is thin enough, then she can keep her husband's gaze and stop it from wandering to other women. I'm telling her no. She doesn't have to believe that nonsense. She doesn't have to, and that she's fine the way it is. The way she is perfectly fine. For her to look in the mirror and smile at who she is and what she has to offer, and that it goes beyond what the eye can see. That goes far beyond what the eye can see. And to not let other people's judgments define her, and to not, above all, to not let her relationships with other men define her worth. Because it doesn't define her worth. She chooses it on her own terms. It's not our parents' fault. It's the generation before them, and the generation before them, and the generation before them, who were taught things, passed them down, taught and passed down, in order to maintain an image of what the culture should be, in order to maintain an expectation, an almost sense of hierarchy of what we should aspire to. A way of survival, you could argue. Because one belief that is still currently held within Bengali culture is that a son is more precious than a daughter. And you might tell me that I'm in the 21st century and this doesn't exist, but I can tell you I've seen it with my own eyes. And I can't unsee what I saw. It's time that changes too. It is time. It has always been time for that to change. But if we examine that core belief that, a son is more valuable than a daughter, it stems from a need for economic stability. It stems from a need of family pride, family strength, protection, all the masculine ideals that a son can bring. But women have capabilities too. Don't you tell your daughter that she's less. Don't you tell your granddaughter that she's less. Don't you tell your sister that she is not worth half of you because of her sex. Don't you tell her that. Don't. I'm redefining the Bengali woman in me, who is taught that if one day, when she gets married and gives birth to a baby boy, she'll be loved forever and ever. I'm telling her that it's okay to have daughters too. They're a blessing. They're a strength. It is amazing to have daughters, not just okay, it's amazing. It's a blessing and should be revered as so. And down with the culture that says no. I'm telling the Bengali girl in me slowly that it's not true. If you break your back to please your in-laws and be the perfect woman, you will not die an honourable woman. You will die as someone who lost pieces of herself in order to please others. It's time to stop that now. It's time to stop that shrinking. It's time to stop telling our women, our beautiful, strong Bengali women, that their worth lies in how much they sacrifice themselves to please others, and how pretty they can look while doing so. You know what? I am going to start changing this cycle with myself. Because I can control what I think, what I feed my mind, what I feed my soul. I can control that. And here I am, telling the Bengali girl in me to stop tearing pieces of herself to make a coat for someone else. I'm taking the needle and thread away from her hands. I'm asking her to sit down with me instead. I'm asking her what she would like to eat tonight. We can go anywhere she likes. But on our way out, she still tries to pick up the needle and thread. Because it's all she knows. The constant stitching of a coat for someone else. To make space for their needs. The tiptoe, the silent trickle of thoughts left unsaid. Is all she knows. I tell her no, and take the needle and thread and put it somewhere else. I ask her to sit down and eat together instead. That was an episode about what it means to be a Bengali woman, whose mother tongue is largely composed of silence and sacrifice, because that was how she was taught she'd find love, be loved, and be forever loved. But hey, she's finally unlearning all of that. All of that. So guys, I figured for the outro song, I want to do a different one. I want to sing Oceans by Tigers in the Sky. So enjoy my lovely a cappella that I've done from my bedroom. You know, while the house is nice and empty, my brother's at school, my parents are at work, and I have the house to myself, so I'm basically just gonna sing, cause like, girl wants to sing. Girl has learned not to shrink herself anymore. Ta-da.
My, how lovely, I adore you. From Rocky Mountains to the deep blue oceans I'll leave. You say you love me, I'll run the rivers till till the trees run too.
Okay guys, I think we're gonna stop there. My singing is atrocious and makes me want to cry, so instead, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into episode 4. Okay, someone please stop my vocals from playing. Gosh, it's cringe. Okay, this bit's kind of nice. Okay, no, let's stop here. Alright, play the trailer. Let's give you folks an idea about what episode 4 is gonna be all about. Juicy episode, this one. Juicy. More juicy than the chicken korma mum makes on Eid, and that's quite juicy itself.
The day she said coal, I laughed, and something in me softened. Where's the H? I asked. She buried it away. That's right. This is an episode to love who you are.